Hello and welcome back to more Pokemon Insurgence. In the last episode, we made our way here to, I can't remember how to say the name of this, Oranos Town. It's like Oris Town, except with the no in it. And we found out that Zachary, who I'm pretty sure we've seen before, but I can't for the life of me remember in what context we saw him, but he's totally not part of an evil something to do with a cult. And he said everybody is required to get vaccinated for whatever weird Deoxys Pokerus thing is going around. And we're about to check it out, because I'm sure it couldn't possibly be anything bad with this at all. Because, you know, after all, we saw what happened to that one guy, right? I'm not allowed to come through here. Alright, can I talk to anybody? Alright, how about that? Very well, sir. Everything seems in order. Now that we have a blood sample, we can organize a time and place for you to get vaccinated. We must ask, sir, have you noticed any of your friends and family exhibit odd behavior?
Well, a few of my friends have been acting differently lately.
Then we ask that you report them, sir. They absolutely must be vaccinated or quarantined for the safety of Tauren.
Right. Safety.
Your cooperation is greatly valued, sir.
For your own safety, we must require.
How's it coming? Fantastic, sir. We have already examined at least 30 people. I can't believe it was this easy. That stupid child and foolish old man gave us the perfect excuse to collect the DNA of everyone in the region. Sir, why does the Infernal Cult need the DNA of so many people? Are you the Infernal Cult? I don't remember any of that.
Why don't you forget I said that?
Yes, sir. Good. Continue to work and let me know if anyone important shows up. Yes, sir. Next in line, please. And apparently I can just cut in line, because look at me, I have a crown on my head. I'm an important person. Oh, hello. Thank you for coming, ma'am. If you would, I'd just like you to sign... Congratulations! You're the 100th citizen to come sign up. Please come to the back with me to collect your reward. It's a lie, because I know I'm the 31st person. You just said it out loud. I mean, speaking of out loud, am I screaming into the microphone this time around? I apologize. I see my little bars in the red zone, but I know you're lying, because you had that whole conversation, obviously within earshot of me. Mr. Zenith, sir, the kid you asked to see is here. Thank you. You may leave us. Ma'am, I'm very sorry about this, but it's likely you've contracted the virus.
I think I would know.
Ma'am, you were caught trying to avoid my team to avoid vaccination. That's very suspicious behavior. There's really only one possibility. You're too slow. I'm afraid you'll have to be quarantined. It's for the good of the region.
But you're going to vaccinate me. I won't have the virus anymore.
I don't know if that really works. If you already have something, can you get vaccinated for it? I don't think it works that way, because having it, assuming you get over it, you build up your immunity. I don't know. Anyway, I'm very sorry, ma'am. We just can't take any risks. However, if there's anyone else you know who is in hiding, perhaps we can come to some sort of arrangement.
Oh yes, I can help you. Please don't send me away.
I don't know why I did that Winnie the Pooh voice instead of an actual old lady voice, but sure. You're doing the region a service. Just report to my friend at the front desk. Get your shot, give him info, and I'm sure we can help you stay safe. So actually with them, they're just collecting DNA and trying to capture people. I don't know if the vaccine actually has anything in it or if it's just a placebo. Banana, are you familiar with the witch trials? I had to read a book on it, actually. The Crucible. They were a long, long time ago, and since the Augur's rewritten most of the history books, I wouldn't be surprised if you're not. The story stars a young little girl who wanted to learn witchcraft. To avoid getting in trouble for it, she accused other townsfolk of being witches. Those who didn't confess were hanged. Talking is hard. Those who did, and accused others, were allowed to live. The town was a mess within a month. Accusations ran rampant. Everyone threw their friends and family under the bus to save their hides. Some reflection of human nature, eh? It's not very heartwarming, but it works for me. It's a very common strategy amongst dictators and tyrants, letting people off the hook as long as they turn others in. They do the work for you, and it works beautifully well. I don't know exactly how this virus works or where it came from, but I'm definitely going to capitalize on its existence. I think I'm done here. I didn't call you in here to monologue. I called you in here to show exactly why you should be terrified of my cult. Mrs. Williams, please come back in. Have you gotten your vaccination?
Yes.
Good, we're done here. Stall him while we leave, please.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful, isn't it? You called me ma'am and then you called me him. Oh well. I guess it's hard to tell the difference, considering how empty and brainwashed the people of this region already are. But anyways, I'm in a hurry. Have fun, you two. Alright, so you're brainwashing people with your vaccine thing, and you chose an old, frail lady? That hardly seems likely, or was it just because she was more gullible? I don't know. Seems like if you're gonna vaccinate people and turn them into zombies or turn them into brainwashed like underlings of yours, you would pick people who are more in better shape. I don't know. That's just me.
You must be stalled. Zenith has commanded it.
I guess in a Pokemon battle, we're all equal anyway, so maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what it is. Medium A. Williams. Miss Magus. Alright, let's calm mind. Man, we got a strong Psywave that time. Now, does Psywave take your... I think Psywave takes your stat boosts into account. Or does it just do fixed damage? I can't remember now. I mean, it's not fixed damage because how much damage it does varies. It's random. But I mean, is it random amongst a fixed amount of HP or a fixed base power? If that makes sense. You know what we can do? We did this yesterday. We looked up some Bulbapedia and other stuff. It wasn't yesterday, actually. It was the last episode, just like 30 minutes ago for me. I'm gonna look up Psywave on Bulbapedia. I've looked this up before, but I cannot remember. Psywave's accuracy changed from 80 to 100. So as of Generation 5, this part's been the same. Psywave inflicts damage equal to user's level times R plus 50 over 100, where R is a random number from 0 to 100. The damage always rounds down. However, Psywave will always deal at least 1 HP of damage. So it sounds like it's an HP calculation, though. Yeah, in Gen 1, Psywave inflicts a random amount of damage varying between 1 damage and 1.5 times the user's level. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, I gotta look this up, but... I mean, I gotta read this in a second. But, so yeah, but basically my question was as far as so like, if I increase my special defense, it doesn't decrease the amount of damage that Psywave does, because Psywave, even though it does a random amount of damage, it's based on a fixed amount of HP. It's based on an amount of HP and not a base power, if that makes sense. Alright, but let me read this quirk, because remember, in the last episode we were talking about a couple of examples of Gen 1 quirks. But let me see. Alright, this is weird. Alright, so the general again. Psywave inflicts... this is Gen 1. Psywave inflicts a random amount of damage varying between 1 damage and 1.5 times the user's level. In a link battle, the damage dealt varies between 1 damage and 1.5 times the user's level on the user's side, and between 0 damage and 1.5 times the user's level on its opponent's side in a link battle. What? As a result, if a 0 is generated in a link battle, it causes the games to desynchronize, as the target will receive 0 damage on the opponent's game, while the user's side will keep generating pseudo-random numbers until it produces a number between 1 and 1.5 the user's level. Additionally, the game will freeze if a level 0, 1, or 171 Pokemon uses the move, though Pokemon cannot normally be obtained at these levels without the use of glitches. That is... So basically, it sounds like it means that the calculation for the amount of damage that Psywave does happens separately in each game in a Link battle. But wouldn't that mean that every... Wait. Oh, no. Okay, I get it. So you have your Game Boy, and you're using Psywave. On your side, the calculation is done between 1 and 1.5 times the level. On your opponent's side, 0 is an acceptable option. It's between 0 and 1.5 times the user's level. So on your side, if you roll a 0 on your side, your game will recalculate to get a number that falls into the correct range of 1 to 1.5 times. On your opponent's side, if you rolled a 0, 0 is acceptable on your opponent's side, so it'll show on the opponent's side they'll receive no damage, and you'll say you give it some damage. So that's interesting. Interesting little quirks. Trick, give me back my item. Give me back my item. So in Gen 2, Psywave inflicts a random amount of damage varying between 1 HP and 1.5 times the user's level. The damage, is always rounded down. However, Psywave will always deal at least 1 HP of damage. Psywave does not take weaknesses or resistances into account, however, type immunity is not ignored. So I wonder if that means in Gen 1 it did take type weaknesses into account. I don't know. Let's go through the years. Generations 3 through 4. Psywave inflicts damage equal to user's level times R times 10 plus 50 over 100, where R is a random number from 0 to 100. 0 to 10, sorry. The damage is always rounded down, however, Psywave will always deal at least 1 HP of damage. Psywave can be used for Pokemon contest, blah blah blah. So, and then the only difference from Gen 4 to Gen 5 was instead of being R times 10 plus 50 over 100 times the user's level, where R was 0 to 10, it's just user's level times R plus 50 over 100, where R is 0 to 100. It kind of amounts to the same thing because the minimum and maximum are the same. R times 10 when R is 0, and R times 10 when R is 10 is 100, versus you just have R, it's either 0 or 100, so it's the same minimum and maximum, if that makes sense. I don't know if that multiplication affected the odds at all, but it sounds like it was basically the same thing. And then it used to have 80 accuracy, but in Gen 6 they made it 100, and that's the only other change. It's interesting. We learned some different things in these little Let's Plays, little things that are totally off topic though.
What happened? The last thing I remember. I need to go.
Alrighty. What do we got in here? An Ultra Ball! I wonder what other fun things we could learn. It kind of reminds me of I had this series that I always wanted to do when I wanted to do more scripted stuff. I wanted to do Sweet Moves, where I go into the history of a move. I had a pilot episode that I don't think I ever uploaded, but it was mostly done. I don't think I ever it was on some kind of I was using some kind of web editing software that I don't have anymore, so I don't know if I have access to it anymore, but basically it was the history of Payday and the origin behind it, and the origin of, and I was gonna try to come up with things like that, like Payday, or think about another one I wanted to do was Swords Dance, the reason it was named the way it was. So not just not just necessarily the history of the move itself, like we just talked about with Psywave, but the history of if the move references something, just like how one of the did you know things that people bring up, the fun facts, is that Night Slash is called something like crossword killing in Japanese, and it has to do with a test that ninjas would do, I think it was, to test that their blade was sharp enough or something. moves that have stories behind them, basically. You know, unfortunately that never got off the ground. I haven't had time to make scripted content, which is a shame. I like the scripted content better in some cases than doing the Let's Play. I like the process of making it, but it just takes longer, and I don't have that kind of time. If I had a little bit more constant inspiration for things, because I'll get inspiration things. The last scripted series I tried to do was The Language of Gaming, which I did 2 things for it. My first, it was really based on this one episode, this one topic that I really wanted to talk about, which was the Italian words and the Italian names that were in Super Mario Sunshine. So, a hidden grotto with Froakies in it, you say? I wonder, around here or on the route? I'm gonna check this out real quick. But yeah, I was really passionate about doing that video. But then when it came time, I wanted to make it like a series that I do, something that my channel does, because it would combine 2 of my interests, which is languages and gaming, obviously. But I had that inspiration for that one idea, and then it was so hard to come up with other language, not that it was so hard, but I don't know, just nothing really. I didn't have anything else that I was that passionate to talk about, and like, if I had more time, where the time aspect comes in, if I had more time to like sit down and think about it, and draft a bunch of ideas, and rule out the worst ones, and pick out the best ones, or whatever, like, if I had more time to do that, I feel like I could probably come up with more, and have a good, like, slew to have a good series going, but, you know, time. This is more of my hobby. I'm not really making. My YouTube channel doesn't really make money anymore. I get enough views to get a couple bucks, but I don't have the Google AdSense set up. I used to get my money paid through a service that would send it to my PayPal account, and now, for whatever reason, unless they've changed it, I really wish they would change it, where I can't get paid through PayPal, which would be nice. I mean, Twitch does it. I mean, but you know, it's a couple bucks a month, so it doesn't matter. But hey, I mean, it could help pay for, you know, that Disney Plus subscription. A couple bucks a month, right? Anyway, that's the thing. You know, the YouTube stuff, I'm a little bit more into the streaming, although again, that has to take a backseat to my other responsibilities as well. All this stuff has to take a backseat to my other responsibilities in life, so I don't get to devote the kind of time that I would like to if I really, the kind of time I know I could devote, the kind of quality that I know I could create, I would need more time to devote. So I can understand. And like, there are certain Poketubers, not Poketubers in general, but certain YouTubers who would say, not necessarily that it's inferior to just like do Let's Plays or whatever, but that Let's Plays are kind of like the cheap way to do YouTube, which is, it's kind of fair. I mean, you just have your setup, you hit record, and you start playing and start talking like that. That's a somewhat fair assumption, a fair assessment. And I know that, like I do, like I said, I feel more accomplished putting together a big scripted thing that's nicely edited and everything. I feel more satisfaction out of that, but at the same time, again, for me, the way it is, I'm not doing this. Oh, I forgot I'm a flying type. Whoops. Yeah, I forgot that I'm a flying type. I completely forgot. Anyway, but yeah, for where my channel is, for the amount of time that I have, I know I can't make my life what it isn't. Like, if I wanted to, and if I wanted to YOLO it and just be like, I'm gonna devote all my time to YouTube, like, that would, first of all, that wouldn't be a smart decision for me, because especially the way YouTube is now, it's not something that YouTube was much easier to break into and make money before than it is now. It's kind of going away. Like even some of the top creators still, that do still make their living primarily off of YouTube or largely off of YouTube. They've had to invest in other things, have to resort to, you know, Patreon donations. They branch out, they go to Twitch, they do other content, or they have other ways to make money. Some of them, you know, have other jobs now. So it's not really, YouTuber is not really, and YouTuber never really was what I wanted my, like, career to be either. It was just one of those things, if I can make a little money here or there, that'd be fine. Twitch still gives me some money every few months, depending on how the donations and the subscriptions go. But, yeah. Basically, sometimes I do miss doing the scripted content, but I know, and you can kind of see it in some of the times where I just wanted to get something out there, because I'm like, I want to do something scripted, and you can really see where the scripting was kind of rushed. Like the second Language of Gaming episode that I tried to do, which was the only other one I tried to do, I wanted to get one out quickly, while a game was topical, but I didn't have, you know, I didn't have a lot of time to devote to it, and I just wanted to rush it out, and you can kind of tell. I don't necessarily think I did a terrible job with it, like, I think I did the best I could in the amount of time I gave myself, but it's one of those where, like, I don't want to produce content like that where I don't have the time to really make it everything it could be. Anyway, that's enough of that talk, I think. I think that's enough talk for now. There's a lot of personal talk. But yeah. I mean, I guess it was just to say, I love scripted content. I miss scripted content, but I miss doing it. But it doesn't work for me right now. Maybe not again. I don't know. You know, life's moving on. Gotta go get the real job. I'm finishing up school. I still want to, I have to decide what the future of the YouTube channel is going to be, whether I'm going to still do it. I mean, I think I still want to stream whenever I can, at least once a week. Because it's fun, I get to hang out with you guys, it's a lot more personal. Oy. Dang it. Dang it. Poor Sakura. I should know what my special defense is, so I know whether to stay in on something or not. But I got greedy. I thought, well, I gotta live one of something. But anyway, the thing I like better about streams is, like, even when they're small, so let's say I get, like, 3 comments on a video. Like, that's fine. You know, it's small, whatever. But let's say I get 3 viewers on a stream. And, like, okay, that's still not a lot on a stream, but they're commenting, we're having discussion in real time, back and forth. So that's a more fun setting. For the same amount of viewers interacting, having the real-time interaction is a lot more fun. So, that's why I do lean more towards streaming. And because Twitch, thank you, pays out to PayPal, I do get a little bit of extra money from Twitch. Like I said, it's not my living by a long shot, but you know, every once in a while, some extra money every few months. It does it for doing something that's fun, that I enjoy doing anyway. That's fine. For unwinding and relaxing with you guys and doing videos, sharing, you know, playing games, sharing my thoughts. Again, even if it's just a few of you, I definitely appreciate that that atmosphere. Anyway, what other moves? So that's all got started because I was looking at, you know, the history of Psywave as a move and how there was a series that I wanted to try to do that talked about the history of Pokemon moves. And again, not just through the generations, but just like the story behind them. So I wonder, does Bulbapedia have anything relative to the origin of or trivia around it? I mean, Psywave might not be a good example, but I'm curious. Like, if I looked up Night Slash. Alright, well, let's keep moving first. But if I looked up Night Slash, I wonder if I would find anything about the origin there. Oh, that was Nightshade. Whoop. So, I was looking up Night Slash, but I got Nightshade instead. And apparently in Japanese it's called Nighthead. I don't know what that means. That would be another one that I want to look up. Like, I know isn't Nightshade, an herb or like a name for a certain flower? I'm interested. I'm curious now. What the heck? Like, and this doesn't tell me anything, unfortunately, about the origin of the actual, like, the naming of the move. Now I'm curious, though. But I want to look up Night Slash. That was what I really wanted to look up. It actually is called crossroad killing in Japanese. It's called Sujikiri. Like TSU? Like Sujikiri, which apparently means crossroad killing. It's so dark for a children's game. But yeah, no info. Oh wait, there is trivia on this one! The Japanese name refers to a way in which some samurai would test new swords in feudal Japan. Sujigiri. Okay. Oh yeah, that's what it was. This was by hiding in wait by a road, typically a crossroads, that's the literal translation, and waiting for an unsuspecting commoner, i.e. lower class, and so with far fewer rights than the samurai class, to pass by. He would then strike to kill, in this way learn how well the new sword would cut. That is, I'm not surprised it's a dark type move, because that is very, very dark indeed. But see, like, this move has trivia on it. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I wanted to, you know, be able to talk about in these, when talking about these games. Alright, let's see, where are we going? I haven't found a hidden grotto yet. Is there something else? Interesting that in the Portuguese, there's two translations. There's the Brazilian Portuguese translation, and there's the European Portuguese translation. The Brazilian Portuguese translation had two versions. So I guess the early anime sounded like a more literal translation of the English, which was... oh no. Freaking Metal Burst. I always forget about Metal Burst. Poor Sakura has died 100 million times. But anyway, it was called Corte Notturno. Corte Notturno, like literally night cut, I guess, in the early anime, and then in the games, and then from the X and Y anime onward, and in the TCG and manga, it was Taglio Notturno. I don't know why, I need to work on my Portuguese accent. I'm saying it more like Taglio. Well, it's Taglio, yeah, which is also a cut, like a nocturnal cut. But then Golpe Notturno is the European Portuguese name. Oh, and then European and Latin American Spanish have different ones. This was the anime though. In Diamond and Pearl, it was Rasguño Nocturno in Latin America, and then it became Cuchillada Nocturna. Like, Cuchillada, is that literally a slash? Because like cuchillo is a knife, and so, but like also I think of it as a kitchen knife. I suppose it's just a generic term for knife, but that's interesting. And then Tajo Umbrio is the European Spanish. This ties in. This is like all the language of gaming stuff. Like, I could do that. I could have done that, a series or just talk about what moves are called in different languages. But it's interesting. Now, I mean, this is kind of probably a bad example because this reference probably had to be translated from Japanese for a couple reasons. One, because the cultural reference wouldn't make sense outside of Japan, and two, because having the word killing in the I'm saying that word a lot too, I don't know that's gonna affect, well, most of you don't see my video anyway, so it's okay. But having that word in there in a kid's game, like, it makes more sense that they'd change the translation. But I'm curious because it seems like at least a lot of the Western translations of moves and things are more based on the English translation than on the original Japanese, which kind of makes sense because culturally, I guess, the English-speaking countries are a little closer culturally to the other Western languages, the Romance languages, and German, but also, and so perhaps really, you're 6 levels above, you can't escape. You know what, Sakura? I don't even know what to do with you anymore. I don't know what to do, but I am gonna put up a repel, because I'm getting tired of this. And now I get away safely. But anyway, so it would make sense. I wonder if the East Asian languages, if their translations stay more true to the original Japanese, whereas the Western languages are all more similar. The Western translations are all more similar to each other. I could see that being the case. Okay, let's give Itoichi... How are we running on time? We'll do a little more. Let's see what's in this cave. But first, let me be annoyed. Wait, taxi machine piece? A piece of machinery seemingly belonging to a taxi. It looks like a wing. Was that the flying Pika taxi that they were talking about? Interesting. Alright, let me get this rappel up. I don't know, I mean, I guess regular Bisharp is not that fast. Maybe Delta Bisharp is not either. Oh, man, I didn't want to fight yet, because I was looking at where this was going, and I thought, no, I want to backtrack and check out that cave first. Alright, actually, let me go back and look up, Nightshade. I'm curious in other languages. Alright, so I'm a fighting type. I will get out of here. I kind of want to go into Mimi, but I'm afraid to hard swap. Oh yeah, the other thing was, a lot of, like, one of the examples, that I was giving with languages being the same too, is that I found that a lot of, the Western translations of Pokémon names, I've found in most languages, most Western languages, it's the same as the English name. With a few exceptions, like I think French has different names, German has different names for them, but like the Spanish, Spanish and Italian use the same names. The Portuguese does also. Speaking of the Portuguese, so I wonder if this is a Latin American thing in particular, because in both Brazilian Portuguese and Latin American Spanish, Nightshade has had 4 different names over the course of the series. And in Europe, in Portuguese and Spanish, it's just been the same the whole time. I mean, now some of that makes sense. Maybe, like, I don't know exactly the history of how the games used to be localized prior to, like, now you have a worldwide release and you just pick the language. It's been more formalized. But, like, in obviously in Latin America you have a bunch of different countries, a bunch of different Spanish-speaking countries, but they have their own kind of colloquialisms. Now, Brazil, I believe, is the only major country in Latin America that speaks Portuguese, but they have a lot of differences as well. And I guess I also wonder if it had to do with it wasn't as standardized. The terminology wasn't as standardized. But I mean, I see how that could be an issue with the different regions. The different regions have their own versions of the language to some extent. And so, oh, you just have the Kalos starters, don't you? And so, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I'm always very fascinated. Oh, extra sentry. I forgot about that. I'm so tired of you dying. I'm so tired of it. I need to be smarter. I'm just like, oh, I'm a fighting type, there's no problem. I forgot about extrasensory. But yeah, I'm always really fascinated with the differences in languages, like the different translations for different languages, or even within the same language, just translated for different regions that speak the same language, or different countries, or even within the same region, like Latin America, with all the different names. I mean, some of it might have had to do with, because it does seem like, for the anime, like for the anime as an example, you had like, where was I going with that? You had, well, like even in the, well, the games, in my opinion, the games have always been a little bit more standardized. The anime has been like unstandardized for a while until I think until the Pokemon Company kind of took control and they handled all of the dubbing and everything. Prior to that, I feel like things were a little bit less streamlined. You had certain, like, the anime was very, it was a lot more, the original anime was a lot more Japanese, if you will, like as far as more cultural references. It was more like, obviously this thing came from Japan, rather than more recently it's been kind of culturally neutral compared to how it was before. And, oh boy, we're running the clock for real this time, mostly because of my rambling. But I don't know. All that to say, like, I guess it seems like different regions that handled the translations, it was a little bit more loose with how it happened. And I think more recently, now that Pokemon realized they have a big brand on their hands, like once they realized that, they kind of took more control, and everything is more brand protected with how things are translated, and just everything more standardized and more formalized. Ooh, Manectrite. And we can find Manectric right here. How convenient. Alright, but, you know, I've rambled a lot in this episode. Probably made the gameplay take longer than it needed to. But we're just gonna go up to the entrance of this building. I don't know if we have any other trainers to fight. Anything over here? Any items? I assume we can keep going this way, but I want to check out this building first. We'll do that at the start of the next episode. Let me just see, are there any more trainers to fight before we finish off? Oh wait, there's a connect. Oh, I could have just gone right down this way. Oh. Alright. Kid, you gotta help me. My boss is gonna kill me. I'm supposed to be supervising the satellite core while he's gone, but somehow something got in and ran havoc on the equipment. The locks are busted. I can't even get in and find what's causing the problem. Will you help me? Oh man, thank you so much. This really means a lot. The front door should be open. The locks to the upstairs are the ones that are busted. Good luck, and thank you again. Alright, so that is what we're gonna do in the next episode. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and definitely share if you enjoy this content, because the best way for other people to see my stuff, if you think it's worth people looking at it, is just to share it. And you get my lovely off-the-cuff word structure like I did right there. Anyway, that's gonna do it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time for more Pokemon Insurgence.